Today I'm going to show you all my barrel composting bins that I use here at the house for my personal use. One is I think it's like a 40-gallon drum that I got off Craigslist. And it was my first attempt, and I just drilled, it didn't have a removable top, so I just drilled a hole in the top. And then I converted the bottom space into a flow-through bin by cutting out a hole, and then I drilled some holes in and inserted some coated laundry line all the way across to make a screen. I don't think we're going to be able to see this, but I just made a screen at the bottom, and that way the finished compost kind of falls through. But what I'm discovering with these particular type homemade blow-through bins is that the compost gets pretty dense at the bottom, so I have to use a tool that I got at the dollar store. It's like a pasta fork, and I use that to scrape the castings down and get them to fall through at the bottom. And then they're still pretty wet and fudgy, so I allow them to sit at the bottom for a couple weeks before moving them over to my bucket. I store all my castings in a 5-gallon bucket because it's easy for me to take out to the garden to use it. It also helps to keep them moist. So with this particular bin, like I said, I just cut out the top, and I use an old piece of carpet as a lid, and then I feed from the top. So it's very simple. You just feed like you would any other worm bin. You're going to use fiber like paper or a straw, and then you're going to use your feed stock, which can be food scraps or compost or whatever. This is another similar bin that I made out of a 45-gallon trash can that I got at Walmart for like 15 bucks, and did the exact same thing with the bottom to make it a flow through. It has wheels on it, and I thought that would be awesome because I thought it'd be easy to move it around. But what I've discovered is after the bin gets about halfway full, it's too heavy for the wheels to work. It's just not heavy duty enough of a bin. I like this bin better than a converted barrel because of the lid. The moisture level seems to stay a lot better with a plastic lid. Aeration is not a problem. I just drilled holes again through the bin. If the bin does get a little bit too wet, I'll just leave the top off for a couple hours. And again, I just feed from the top, and I put in whatever I have on hand. These bins each, I would guess, have about probably 8 to 10 pounds of worms in them a piece. I started with just 2 pounds of worms per bin, and now they go through about 10 to 15 pounds of scraps per week. And I use compost, manure, and table scraps from the house. Let's see if we can find a big pile of worms, and I just use my bare hands because I don't care. There's a few. I think I've had the lid off a while and they're not happy with me right now. Let's see if we can find a big clump over here. Got some pumpkin puree there. Yeah, here's a big, huge amount of worms here. I'll just grab them and see. Yeah, there we go. Nice, healthy worms. See if I see any cocoons. There's a cocoon right there. So they're laying all kinds of eggs. It's early spring here. I'm recording this in mid-March, and the temperatures have still been pretty cool here in Texas, so I'm guessing once we start having some consistent days, this is just full of eggs. I'm seeing eggs all over the place, or cocoons. Once we get some warmer temperatures here in the barn, that these worms are gonna really start hatching. I'm gonna have a lot of worms in these bins. That's all I have to tell you about barrel compost bins. Come visit me on wormbиncomposting.com for more information. Thanks.